As the host of the G20 summit this year, Indonesia is proud to invite the G20 delegates to visit many wonderful places in Indonesia. That's one of the reasons G20 Culture Ministers meetings is being held in one of the World Heritage BOROBUDUR Temple and around the area. Has been going from 11 to 14 of September 2022.
Thank you very much, Narendra. As you said, I am now at the Borobudur Temple. For tonight's event is the G20 Orchestra. This is one of the world's heritage and one of the seven wonder, obviously, as we know. Borobudur Temple, where tonight there will be held the G20 Orchestra as part of the G20 Cultural Ministers meeting. And the orchestra will showcase the diversity of world culture through the orchestral set at the AISYA stage where I am at now. So this is taking the theme Culture Path for Sustainable Living or Sustainable Recovery through the Cultural Path. G20 Orchestra will present 35 musicians from Indonesia and 31 musicians from the G20 member countries. I am now with Indonesian maestro ANANDA SUKARLAN, who is appointed as the artistic director for G20 Orchestra. Hello, Mas Ananda, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine too, thank you very much. And thank you for sharing with TVRI World. So I have some question for you regarding the event tonight. We are all very, very excited and cannot wait because it will be aired live on TVRI. So how are you feeling to be appointed to be the artistic director for this magnificent event?
Yes, well, the feeling is, of course, very honored, but also immediately I sense the really huge responsibility because this orchestra is not just another orchestra. And in fact, what they asked me is just to make an orchestra of members from the G20 countries. But then I realized that it shouldn't be just like that. It should address some issues like the gender equality, about the millennials, about how innovative programming for the orchestras and everything. Because the world of classical music, as you know, is quite traditional and quite conservative for the last, even, more than 100 years. So we need something innovative for that. So I think this is a great opportunity to address the world that we can present classical music in a different, more fresh way and more friendly to the public.
Okay, that's why also there will be like 50% and 50% between the male and female musicians for this orchestra tonight?
Right, exactly. That's my target, to make 50-50 female and male, because the world of classical music in the world is still really a male world, and not only that, but also in some instruments like percussion and the brass instruments, they are really, really dominated by men, like, more than 95%. And especially with conductors. If you list all the conductors in the world, the female conductors are only about 1.5%.
Oh, and that's why also you chose a female conductor from Indonesia to be the conductor for tonight's event.
Exactly. I mean, we have good conductors, we have great conductors, but then I thought, well, we can, for a change, we can have a female conductor. And of course, I didn't appoint her just because she is female, but because I have seen her professionality, I have seen her, her charisma and how her leadership works within the orchestra.
I see. But this is like combining between the G20 members countries for the orchestra. How do you manage it?
How do I manage it? Yes, well, it's lucky that I know musicians from many countries, including the G20 countries. They have played my music, and so, I just called them, and, I know them as fantastic musicians, marvelous musicians. So I contacted them. Some of them are a bit too old for my target of millennial musicians. So I asked them to recommend some musicians from their country to, so that they could recommend me the names. And so they sent me the videos and recordings of some musicians, and from there I selected some of them, and yeah, so that's how it works. Yes.
Okay. How long have you been practicing?
Practicing together, it was since the 2nd of September. The 1st of September, everybody arrived here. No, arrived in Jakarta, sorry. I forgot we are in Borobudur. But yeah, arrived in Jakarta on the 1st of September, and we rehearsed until the 7th of September in Jakarta. And yeah, on the 7th evening, we flew here to Yogyakarta, and then to Borobudur, and we, rehearsed while checking the sound. It's a different feeling playing in open air than in a room where we rehearsed in Indonesia, in Jakarta for 6 days. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you also mentioned before, like, this is not only to bring the orchestra, but also to bring the message from the G20, like carry the message and value of unity in diversity, gender diversity, anti-violent movement, support and empowerment the people with disabilities, and the unity of the G20 countries. What is your hope to carry on that message and value through the orchestra that you direct tonight?
Great hopes, of course, because those issues are directly addressed in the music that we program. So there's music by Sir Michael Tippett, who was imprisoned because he rejected to become military and fought in the war. It was in the 1930s, and then, but after that he became a great composer, and then he was even recognized as a knight by the United Kingdom. So in fact, he was knighted with the Order of British Empire by the late Queen Elizabeth II. So yes, we remember the Queen and Sir Michael Tippett for that. His work is called A Child of Our Time. It addresses the issues of economic depression and how we all felt at that time. So music is for me, it's a documentation, but not a documentation like, the dates, the place and everything, things that we memorize, but it's a documentation of how we feel at that time. So, and that's also very important, that we learn the history, not only about the dates and about the people, the who and how and where and everything, but also the feeling. And that feeling, that expression is recorded in history through work of arts like music.
Exactly. I could not agree more. And we cannot wait for tonight G20 Orchestra. So stay tuned only on TVRI. We will be broadcasting it live. So I am AISYA FABIEN reporting from Borobudur Temple. And now back to you, Narendra.